talk about corporate deals. For Nigeria and pretty much every nation around the world, the availability of capital through deal making helps to attract foreign investors, lenders, and fund providers, which has a positive effect on the respective economies. A deal book is a report by Nairametrics, a leading financial information and intelligence portal in Nigeria, that provides an overview of corporate deals officially announced in Nigeria in 2022 from publicly available data. Uade Ahimie, who is a member of the Nairametrics Editorial Board and an author, he's been on the show before, he joins us again. I should be saying Happy New Year. Thanks.
Same to you.
Thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here again.
Good to have you. Good to have you. So much to discuss on this report. So I think starting with, $5.7 billion worth of deals closed. How important is, I guess, corporate deals to the lifeblood of the economy? If you look at what this, if you can talk about what this report has captured.
Okay, so basically, what you see is that corporate deals are so important to the to the economy of Nigeria as a whole. Yeah. This report just brings about to you how many deals came in, how much money inflowed into Nigeria.
Oh, we need the money.
And we need the money, like you continue to say, and I agree with you. So it shows 320 deals, $5.7 billion, about 2.41 trillion, and which just goes to show you that Nigeria is still a good haven for investors. 280 deals were in respect of expansions. But what really catches me is that people still believe in things like commercial paper. Some, about 9 deals were with respect to equity, though the stock market hasn't really been
as buoyant as we would like.
But it just goes to tell you that people still believe that they can put some money into equity, restructure their businesses, and improve on how businesses will be. And that, for me, is something that we all have to look at. This deals book is something that everybody should go on, and it's free. Just go onto the Nairametrics website and
check it out
and subscribe to it. But it just goes to show you how important it is for monies to inflow and the amount of monies that we know Nigeria can attract once we just get the right
certain things need to be in place.
The right things in place.
Well, what do you make of the growth, I guess, in volume? I think 80% climb. You mentioned it, I think it was 177 deals or so. So 80%
in 2021.
Yeah, but the value dropped by about 35%. How does one interpret that divergence?
Okay, so there are two things you can look at. So the growth is in terms of the fact that there are more places that you can put your money. In terms of the value, generally across the world last year, we know that there was a drop a slight drop in terms of venture capitalists and those looking for where to put the right amount of money. And then when you look at Nigeria, because also you're transitioning, everybody has to be very careful in terms of, let's see what the new administration is. How is a pre-election year going to go? So you're waiting, sitting down there, observing and seeing how it goes so that you can plan for 2023, which I think, in my opinion, second half of 2023 will be humongous. With investors looking at opportunities. And let me just reel out something quick. About 75% of the deals were for startups.
Actually, yes. In fact, I did want. Yeah, thank you. Let's hop into the startups. Exactly, 75%. Yeah.
$1.08 billion. $295 million of that goes into sectors that we really haven't been thinking about. HR, edutech, transport and logistics, health tech, agric. In fact, agric had over $140 million in investments. And it's all technology. And entertainment, large chunk of entertainment, over $50 million in entertainment. Now, these are the things that are going to help drive a number of indices out of where we are today. New areas built driven by technology. So let me give you a quick example as in health. When you can link the NHS system, you can link it to the NIN and link it to a number of things. So it just goes to show you the huge opportunities that we have from tech. And the number of people in Nigeria, 200 million people, 200 million Nigerians who actually have an NIN. So you can imagine the database that which you can play with in terms of whether it's HR, Japa. Everybody has been shouting about Japa, but you have the opportunity to develop new people in these areas, in whether it's new talents are forever coming aboard. So investments in areas like HR, like edutech, where education now, how many million Nigerians are out of school?
20, according to the UNICEF.
And so you can imagine where you have just investments in this kind of areas, education technology, where I don't need to have a tablet, but we could create places where those out of school could be at any particular point in time to get an education without physically having those tutors with them. Great stuff. And startups, again, that 75% figure is connected to all this. So then that brings us back to the topic of this enabling business environment to allow these startups to thrive. Because what Nairametrics has captured here is the deals coming in for the startups. So that's, you attracted the money. Yes. But that money has to come into the startups, they take the money, and then they now have to grow, they now have to maneuver the environment. So how important is the environment? So the good thing is that there's a Startup Act. Right. It's not been implemented yet, but it's been signed. Fair enough. So it's become a law. Right. Now, the players, and the good thing for me about that was that everybody sat down in one room, back and forth, and agreed to how they think the enabling environment should work. Yeah. Whoever government is in or administration is in power from May 29 should first and foremost look at that. And like I gave you a few examples of areas that I do think, and in Nairametrics, I remember the last time I think myself and Go had that discussion. These are critical areas that we should see investment in from startups. Transport is one. Transport is huge. It's huge and humongous. We had an entire segment on Lagos transport yesterday. You're just talking about Lagos. I'm talking about the whole country. Right. So if you can set up the network, and invest in the network of how you can hook up the whole country, and I can go from Lagos to Abuja and still use the same means to pay for a bus, then you can imagine the kind of things the financial institutions will be playing with. Uade, can I ask you something? We keep talking about the potential. When is all this going to be realized? Well, so I think we haven't. I think last time we had a discussion was sometimes towards the end of last year when we met somewhere along our road. We're talking about the pre-election. We're talking for almost an hour on the side of the street. On the side of the street. And one of the things I told you then, irrespective of who wins the 2023 election, I see those who are contesting in an election that believe that, one, Nigeria needs to move forward. Tech is very important. Investment in that area is really important, whether it's for security or it's financial or it's healthcare or it's education. And this I see. And that's why I tell you, I see second half of Nigeria as a boom. I do. Okay, let me ask you this. What do you make of the lamentations that we've got billionaires in this country? Because a lot of what's captured in this Nairametrics deal book is, foreign funds coming in, which is great, right? The billionaires here supporting more startups. Well, maybe. So I really don't know about how much data we have along that side. Yeah. But like I also say, and I continue to, aside from those bringing in money from outside, and I continue to maintain, and this is something we've maintained for a long time, collaborations become a major part of business. Yeah. So billionaires funding startups or looking for opportunities with startups, you start looking at how do you collaborate with startups to build the system that you currently have, to improve on them and create that enabling environment for those within the middle and bottom strata of the economy to latch onto the opportunities. Remember, today's child is tomorrow's customer. Indeed, indeed. Deal frequency, the seed series funding, I showed that there was a healthy number there. Yeah. How important is, when we look at access to capital, so there it is, most popular seed series funding, 120 deals, over $1 billion, value 53 billion naira. Yeah, so as far as access to capital and a diverse source of access to capital, that's important for startups here. Yeah, so the first thing is the seed and the series becomes the quickest way to get the money. Yeah. And in building the system to start to make you grow. And as you go on, you find out that, like I said, the capital market is really not working the way it should. Yeah. And what you see with a number of startups is in a space of 2 to 3 years, they start looking at how they go into the markets and shoot out. But also, the other thing for me is how do you collaborate? And when you talk about the billionaires in these countries, these are the kind of things that you look at. How do you invest in a startup that collaborates with you, helps you grow your business, and create the opportunity for that startup to go into the market and raise additional funds, whether it's debt, whether it's equity, and then continue on that path like we said, transportation, huge, massive area that we've not even scratched the surface. I'm not talking about scratching the surface. We've not even seen anything, and we're talking about scratching the surface. So these are opportunities that we have. Yeah. But seed funding, series funding, and series because of the fact that I start from the seed, I move on, and over a period of time to see how much it can grow. And once you upscale to that point, then I'm sure we'll be able to get additional investments in.
You mentioned debt and equity. On the debt side, what do we do about the exorbitantly high levels of interest rates that businesses who have to go and get loans and so on are being strangled by that? I mean, is that a policy thing to where you have to try and bring that down going forward?
Yeah, so it has to be a policy thing. First and foremost, inflation is killing everybody. And that's why you see over the last 6 months, the rate at which the MPR has gone up is more zero, just to try and match the inflation rates, which will never happen. However, debt becomes important where you're able to lock down early on rates that could help you in the long run. So you find out that you have mostly fixed debt investments, and they believe in the fact that you can grow that business and what's it called. And the beauty about debt is, if I put in debt, I can actually change it to equity. Yeah. So that also gives you some leeway to manage that position.
What about the legal system and the importance of being able to
that's a great question. This 5.7 billion is not just monies that go into the businesses themselves. They're consultants, finance, legal. Yeah. And for me, I think it just continues to build the capacity of Nigerian system in terms of whether it's finance and accounting, whether it's business and governance structure, legal. You need to start to understand better the businesses, where they play, how they play, what kind of agreements you need to put in place. So huge opportunities I see in Nigeria. Yeah. Deal book, go on to the Nairametrics website, download it.
And check it out.
And understand better how deals and those who participated and those who participate, just in case you want to get money.
Final question for you, less than a minute to go. So we've seen the growth in terms of volume 2022-2021. When Nairametrics does this again for 2023 versus 2022, will the election have slowed things down, or based on the boom you're seeing in the second half, that'll take the numbers up?
I guess, so first quarter, part of second quarter, yeah, it might not necessarily, but it might just even out a bit. Yeah. But I see the investments coming in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and towards looking at the potentials of second half of 2023 into 2024, when the administration, whoever then becomes the president of Nigeria, in terms of the administration of Nigeria, drives his agenda and manifesto based on all the things that have been promised.
The first thing is subsidies. If their subsidies will be removed by June,
I'm an advocate of removing
exactly.
Subsidies.
So we'll see how things go.
That
Fascinating year ahead. Uade Ahimie, member of the Nairametrics Editorial Board. Thank you for taking us through this great data set of deals for corporate Nigeria.
And thank you for always having me.
Fantastic stuff.